Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a fun one because we are going to be playing with the new Colourpop and Winx Club collaboration. This is Colourpop's newest collab. I was a little surprised by it. I just don't hear a lot about Winx Club being like a popular thing except for probably among kiddos, and I don't know what kiddos are buying like Colourpop makeup, but alas, here we are reviewing this. Colourpop is full of surprises over there. So this collection comes with an eyeshadow palette. It's like a rainbow palette, very pretty color story. It comes with one glitterly obsessed glitter. It comes with 3 highlighter sticks, and then it comes with 6 lip glosses. I'll be honest, when I first saw this collection, I was extremely underwhelmed, not because of the color stories or anything like that, but just because I feel like Colourpop's been just doing the same thing over and over again, and they've just been like tweaking the shades that they release to, you know, kind of match the collection and like the shade names and stuff, but I feel like that's the only real thing that changes. I would really like to see some new formulas from Colourpop, something that isn't their light sticks or Super Shock highlighters. I would really love to see like a beautiful like powder formula. I've tried their powder formulas in the past and they weren't great, so I think something upgraded would be fantastic. I would love to see really pretty face products that aren't, you know, Super Shock formula. I would love to see less glitters. I'm kind of over the glitter thing. I don't know, especially the glitterly obsessed. I don't really know what to do with them. I would just really like to see some updated formulas. I have had some issues with their gel liners in the past, so maybe something that's a little more creamy and not as stiff. I just feel like I've been seeing the same thing over and over again, just rebranded for different collections, and I'm getting a little bored. Obviously, those opinions don't have anything to do with like the quality or the pigmentation of these products, so if you want to see my opinions on those sorts of things, then you can just keep watching. Okay, my friends, so this is the Just Like Magix Winx Club palette. It retails for $33.20 Canadian, which is honestly really high up there in price. I was very surprised. I continue to be surprised by Colourpop's pricing. It just seems to keep going up. I mean, I guess along with everything, right? Also, there's someone outside of my house using a chainsaw. Like, of course there is. There's always something going on when I'm trying to film. So this is what the inside of the palette looks like. Hold on. I don't want to cover up a poor girl's face. There we go. It's got what I'm assuming to be all of the Winx Club members. I don't know, this just feels very juvenile to me for Colourpop. Is Winx Club like really popular? I have no idea. Like, I get the Disney collabs because there are like Disney adults that are obsessed with it. I'm not one of those people, but this seems a little bit kiddish even for Colourpop. Anyway, let's get into the palette. It does not come with a mirror, which usually the more expensive Colourpop palettes do. I guess they have to pay for intellectual property, but still. This is what it looks like. Very pastel, very colorful. There are quite a few pressed glitter shades. This one's a pressed glitter, this one's a pressed glitter, this one definitely, and there might be more in here. And I don't love the pressed glitters. Not only are they not really safe for the eye area, I mean, you can use them on the eyes. Just of course you want to use it at your own discretion. It can scratch your eyelid. I have experienced that before with these glitters and it's not pleasant. However, more concerning, the pressed glitter shades contain microplastics that can enter the environment and are really bad for our waterways. So there's also that. And this palette contains 3 of them. So I guess we'll just start by going left to right, up, down. Actually, or should we go in rows? Because obviously they're organized into, or columns. They're obviously organized into columns. So maybe we'll swatch it that way. So the first shade we have is called Domino. And if there's any references in here, I'm not going to get them. So this shade is described as a baby pink with rainbow glitter. It is a very beautiful shade, I will say. And instead of going in columns, I'm going to go in rows. I know I said that I'm going to do columns, but the shades are listed in rows and I just know I'm going to get myself confused and mixed up. So I'm going to go in the way that they're listed on the website. So the next shade is called Lymphea, I don't know, and it is described as a matte warm baby pink. Next up we have another pressed glitter. This one is called Nature's Symphony, and it is a minty glitter with opalescent highlights. They've definitely changed this glitter formula. It's very nice and a lot smoother than it used to be. Next up we have this yellow shade called Solaria, I have no idea how to pronounce anything. This one is described as a vibrant pastel yellow. For a pastel yellow, that's actually a very nice formula. This next shade is pretty sheer, but it is a Super Shock shadow, and it's a teal violet opalescent duochrome finish. I don't really see the teal. I think it's just kind of like an opalescent violet blue shade. This one didn't impress me very much. It's very sheer. Now moving on to the next row, we have the shade Fairy Vibe, and this is a metallic vibrant fuchsia. This swatched absolutely horribly. It's hardly metallic. I actually wasn't sure if it was supposed to be metallic or a satin, so I actually built up that swatch. I'll go ahead and show you how it like swatches the first time. That is patchy, that is not pigmented, that is not shiny. Yikes. Next up, this shade is called Sunbolt. It actually also wasn't very smooth or pigmented. Colourpop describes this one as a metallic soft tangerine. It is a pretty color, but yeah, quality just eh. Next up, we have the shade Zenith, and this is described as a soft chartreuse with silvery pinpoints. This was a really nice formula. I feel like we don't see this color a ton, and I think it could be really fun. Like you could put this on the inner corner for a really fun like electric look. I think that would be awesome. Next up, we have the shade Rising Tide, and this is described as a silvery turquoise. The formula on this was nice. It's a typical metallic formula from Colourpop. Color's really pretty too. I like that one. And lastly for this row, we have the shade Digital Blast, and this is described as a metallic bright lilac. That is not how I would describe it. I think it's like a true purple that maybe even pulls a little bit blue. It's a pretty nice formula. It was a little bit crumbly, but overall I think it would be fairly easy to work with. And for the last row, we have this first shade called Sounds of Melody, and this shade is described as a matte fuchsia. It was a little bit patchy when swatched. Then we have the shade Dragon Flame, and this one was described as a matte orangey coral, and this one was so soft and smooth. If all the mattes in here were that formula, it would be fantastic, but alas, they are not. But that one is a very beautiful formula. Then next up, we have the shade Charmix. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that even remotely accurately. This one is described as a pastel bright sea foam green. The formula was pretty nice for a pastel. Pretty smooth, not patchy. So that's great. The last matte in this palette is called Andros, and Colourpop describes it as a vivid blue-green. And the last shade we have in this palette is called Sonic Bomb, and it is described as a cobalt blue with teal and hot pink glitter. Of course, it is a glitter formula. And that is the entire Just Like Magix palette. It's okay. A lot of the shades, actually most of them performed fairly well. I don't love the pressed glitters, and some of the metallics were a little bit questionable, but for the most part, the quality seems to be pretty good. Then this collection also comes with a Glitterily Obsessed gel. I wish they would launch some other formulas. I never know what to do with this product, and they're always the last to sell out. So I would imagine that these don't sell particularly well. I just want to see something new from Colourpop. It just feels like they launch the same products over and over again in different colors, and it's kind of getting boring. But nonetheless, Colourpop describes this as a opalescent rainbow glitter. It is beautiful, I'll give them that. Then this collection also comes with these little sticker gems that I will never use, and I will probably give to my nieces. Then this collection comes with 3 highlighter sticks. This is what the inside packaging looks like. These retail for $15 Canadian, which is so pricey. Ugh. And Colourpop describes this light sticks as a silvery golden duochrome finish. It kind of looks green to me. Looks like golden and green. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Next up, we have the shade Stormy, and it is described as a pinky lilac with a teal duochrome finish. It kind of looks like the one from the Snitchery collab. And lastly, we have the shade Icy, and Colourpop describes this shade as a metallic icy white. Out of all of the highlighter sticks that have ever been launched, not just like in this collection, but like ever, I feel like this one is the shade I would likely get the most use out of. And lastly, we have an ultra glossy lip that has each of the characters on it. I'm assuming these are the members of the Winx Club. So it comes with 6 ultra glossy lips, and it looks like each shade corresponds to its character, which is really fun. Okay, for swatches, I'm just gonna start. The first one I picked up is called Stella. Ooh, that's a pretty color. So Colourpop describes this first shade Stella as a sheer shimmering tangerine. Next up, we have the shade Musa or Musa. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, and it is described as a sheer shimmery fuchsia. Next up, we have the shade Aisha, and this one is described as a sheer shimmering turquoise. Also, here's what all the shades look like in the tube so far. Very shimmery. And they also all have a doe foot applicator, and they usually, I think they used to at least have a brush applicator, so that's a little bit different. Next up, we have the shade Techna, and this one is super sparkly, and it is a sheer lavender. I don't know if the sparkle in that shade is going to really pick up, but it's a lot sparklier than the other ones. Then we have the shade Bloom, which is described as a sheer baby pink. I feel like they're all starting to look the same, or at least the purple and the pink do. And lastly, we have the shade Flora, which is described as a sheer honey. In the tube it looks green, but I guess you could describe it as a sheer honey in a swatch. And this is what those last 3 shades look like in the tube. All of them have the same scent. I do kind of wish that each was scented a little bit differently. The yellow could be pineapple or lemon, and then like strawberry, cherry, lavender, blue raspberry, apple, that kind of thing. But alas, they're all vanilla scented. And yeah, that is the collection and all of the swatches. Now let's move on to a little demo. Okay, so for today's look, I think I want to go for a pink vibe. I am wearing pink, so I don't know, I just really like this color, so I kind of wanted to like match the vibe. So I'm first gonna go in with this light warm matte pink, and I'm just going to add this to the crease and kind of blend it upwards. That's actually very pigmented for a pastel shade, I did set my lid as well. So the color doesn't really have a tacky base to stick to. So that's actually quite impressive in pigmentation. The shade of pink just makes me feel really pretty. Then as per usual, I'm gonna take a little bit of pressed powder and a blending brush. I'm just gonna use that to kind of buff out the harsh edges. Then I'm gonna take this little synthetic pencil brush and I'm gonna grab the shade Sounds of Melody. It's like a fuchsia. This actually swatched very dry and patchy, which is kind of why I wanted to use it. So I'm just grabbing it on my synthetic pencil brush, going on dry. Hopefully I can build it up to a point where it's not patchy. That's the goal. I chose a synthetic brush so that I could try and like really pack on the product, but I don't think that's working out for me. So instead I'm gonna take my Sigma E36, which is more of like a natural hair. I'm pretty sure Sigma is vegan, so I don't think it's actual natural hair, but it's kind of more of that feel, I guess. And yeah, this seems to be working out way better for me, thank goodness. I feel like those two shades though now just kind of blended in together, and now it's just like one different shade of pink across my eye instead of being two separate shades. It still looks fine, it's just not what I was going for, if that makes sense. Then for a lid shade, I'm gonna go in with this one here called Sunbolt. I'm gonna try dry first. Okay, it has no pigment dry, which is usually how it goes. So I'm gonna dampen it using a bit of Fenty What It Do setting spray. I'm also just gonna dampen my eye a little bit. Okay, maybe I'll try with my finger. There we go. I do find that Colourpop shimmer shades often don't apply super well with a brush, so especially the non-neutral shades. Okay, and then I'm gonna go into this shade here called Fairy Vibe. It really underperformed in a swatch, so that's why I want to use it on the eye. I'm gonna use it kind of like out here to try and blend this situation a little bit better. I'm not really expecting like any high shine or metallicness at all though from it. Oh wow, that's patchy. That's not good. Okay, I'm gonna dampen the brush too. Wow, that does not perform well at all. I'm having a really hard time getting it to stick to the lid. It also just kind of exactly looks like the matte shade, so I'll be honest, I'm not sure what they were thinking when they put that pink metallic shade in there. Quality is not there at all. Okay, and I think that's it for my upper lid for now. I'm going to line my eyes, and I'm gonna do like a little wing. Hopefully it stays little. And then I'm just gonna like clean up this outer corner a little bit. Okay, so I'm actually pretty happy with how that's looking. So I'm just going to do the other side, and then I'm going to probably do my face makeup, except for the highlighter because I want to use the Light sticks. And yeah, and then we can move on and continue with the eyes. I just like to have my concealer done before I move on to the lower lash line. So I'm gonna go do that and I'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see, I have my base down and now we can move on to the lower lash line. I think I'm gonna use the same two pink shades, the matte one. I'm gonna line my lower lash line with this shade and then blend it out with this shade. So I'm just taking a little bit of that fuchsia color and then going back in with my bigger blending brush, and I'm just gonna kind of buff that out. This eye is watering already. That's so annoying. Ugh. For mascara, I'm gonna go in with my Ilia Limitless Lash. Then I'm gonna grab this tiny little brush from Colourpop and I'm gonna get this matte pastel yellow, and I'm just gonna add like a pop to the inner corner because I think that'll be fun. I really like that. Can you tell I'm ready for spring already? It's freaking January. Once Christmas is over, I'm like, okay, no more snow. Ready for spring to start. Although it has been unusually warm here in Canada, and that's a little bit concerning, but it has been kind of nice. For lashes, I'm going in with my Ardell Faux Mink in the style 812. I just cut them right in half to make little half lashes. Still needs more time to dry. I'm getting impatient. Okay, so these are the finished eyes. I really like these lashes. I feel like they're very kind of like fairy-like. Please don't mind this eye water. You probably can't even tell, but I can tell, and it's driving me crazy. So for a highlighter, I'm gonna use this shade called Icy. So I've only set right underneath my eyes because I've had a hard time with these in the past. So I'm gonna warm it up on the back of my hand and get some product that way. And I'm gonna use a sponge because these have moved my foundation around and kind of lifted it in the past. So I'm hoping like if it's warmed up and if I use a sponge, I'm kind of minimizing that. And I do already have quite a glow from my blush and from the Mario foundation. It's pretty glowy. I mean, that was a lot. Like I probably didn't need it down here. I think I do like that though. I feel like it is a bit much with this glowy blush. I'm also getting kind of like a little random flecks that are chunky, which is annoying. That's very pretty. Let's kind of put it all over. I'm gonna add some here. Again, I feel like it's a little bit hard to see because I'm already very glowy, but I am liking this. I probably wouldn't pair it with this blush again. I'm using the Fenty cream blush, that little duo. I'm using the shade Peony Dropper. I feel stupid whenever I say that name, but that blush is very glowy. I'd probably use it with more of like a matte cream blush, but I am pretty impressed with that. Now I'm gonna take a little powder puff and just a little bit of powder. And I'm just gonna kind of set the center of my face because I'm a bit glowy for my taste. So I'm just gonna set like kind of right there. And when I set with a powder puff, it didn't cling to the product at all, which was kind of nice. I actually think I really like that highlighter stick. I haven't had good luck with the Colourpop ones in the past, so I am pleasantly surprised about that. Okay, so for my lips, I want to keep with the pink theme, so I'm going to use Oh Snap Lippie Pencil. Then I'm going to go in with this hot pink gloss. This is the shade Musa, I don't know. They really smell like vanilla frosting, like very strongly. I'm excited to try these because they have a lot of glitter in them, so I'm interested to see if you can feel that on your lips. Pretty color though, I do like it. You can feel the glitter a little bit, like there's a little bit of grit to this gloss. It is just slight though, like I wouldn't say it's uncomfortable at all. Okay, my friends, and this is the completed look. I do like how it turned out, but I cannot wait to take this off because my eye is so irritated. That's not from the eyeshadows or anything like that. It's literally just because I wore makeup yesterday and now I'm wearing it today and my eyes are just not used to it. So let's do a little roundup. This eyeshadow palette is okay. Would I recommend it? Honestly, probably not unless you're a super big Winx Club fan. I forgot what these were even called for a second. Products that I would pass on for me personally, these two light sticks, the shade Darcy and Stormy. I just know I won't use these colors. I just know I won't use these colors very often. That's just a personal preference though. If you do think you'll use them, then go for it. I would also pass on the Glitterily Obsessed, though it is pretty. It's just, I've seen it a million times before and I don't know what to do with these. I would, however, recommend the lip glosses, specifically the two pink ones, just because that's the most flattering lip gloss shade to me personally. Maybe even the yellow one if you want kind of like a golden gloss look. These actually surprised me. I really do like them. I really like that they have that extra layer of shimmer in there. It just brings the shine to like a whole other level and I really like it. But honestly, if you're not a huge Winx Club fan and you're looking to get like a Colourpop rainbow palette, I would probably recommend like the Fade Into Hue, the Mad About Hue, or the She's a Rainbow palettes. Those are all really pretty rainbow options. I didn't love the Fade Into Hue palette. The glitters are nice, I will say. Colourpop did reformulate them, it looks like, and it looks like they are actually technically eye safe potentially. Don't quote me on that, but it doesn't have any indication on the palette or the website otherwise. So, however, some of the shades in here just didn't really perform, particularly this shade. This shade, when swatched, you could hardly see, as well as this pretty purple. It didn't really, you know, swatch very well at all. And with the other rainbow palettes, you kind of get more bang for your buck because you're not paying for the intellectual property of Winx Club. So unless you're like set on this because it's Winx Club, I would recommend going with something else. If you're a big Winx Club fan, then obviously go for it, but I am personally just here for the eyeshadow. So yeah, that is it for like my little mini first impression review type thing. With Colourpop, I've tried all of these formulas before besides the pressed glitters because they did reformulate, it looks like. As well as these glosses, they are more shimmery than their usual ultra glossy lips. That being said, everything else I've kind of dabbled in before, so my first impressions are usually like what my actual review is. It doesn't change much after a couple uses. With Colourpop anyway, you know, obviously it's different with, you know, a foundation I've never tested before. Overall, I think Colourpop's just been a little underwhelming lately, but that's just me personally. I think if you really love Winx Club, I don't think you'd be particularly disappointed by any of the products. They're all fairly average. Nothing performed absolutely poorly except for like one of the eyeshadows. So yeah, that is it for my little roundup. Thank you so much for tuning in and thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far. Please don't forget to subscribe if you want to. If you don't, that's okay. I just really appreciate you being here. It helps out my channel so very much by you watching, so thank you. Please leave any video requests you may have in the comments down below and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!